Yeah, we suck right now. The culture is actually like, I'm just praying for the Lord to deliver me from the pick sixes.
As the new NFL season officially begins with the start of free agency, there are unfortunately some things we must go over. New rules. As with most things the league has done, it's allegedly meant to improve the game, but some of them have led to more controversy than not. One of these changes that totally won't cause this is the banning of the hip drop tackle. Any infraction called by officials will now be 15 yards and an automatic first down. Another judgment call penalty and a league plagued by them. Oh, wonderful. The replay booth can now review instances of roughing the passer and intentional grounding. But knowing how well the pass interference reviews went, my hopes aren't high. What could be ironically useful are the new kickoff rules. They had to do something about them. The kickoff had been relegated to nothing but touchbacks for the most part. If you watch the XFL this past year, there'll be a slightly modified version of them. The kicker kicks off at his 35-yard line, and the kickoff special teams line up at the opposing 40. All but two players on the return team line up at the 35-yard line, not to move until the ball is received by a returner. The goal for the kicking team is to hit it in the landing zone, between the 20 and the goal line. If the ball lands or goes out of the end zone for a touchback, the ball is spotted at the 30-yard line. If it goes out of bounds, it's spotted at the 40 like it was before. Onside kicks also must be declared, thus eliminating surprise onside kicks. We'll definitely be complaining about these things in the future, but their newest gift to us comes with 2 games on Christmas. Wednesday football is back after a 4-year hiatus. The NBA is seething in the corner. Don't let this offseason fool you. In Denver, the ride never ends. It just converts from a steel death trap to a rickety old wooden coaster that collapses on itself. Broncos, after years of trying to patch up a leaky ship with Flex Seal and duct tape, are finally accepting reality. They need to undergo an authentic rebuild. One of the greatest disasters in the NFL's history has come to an end. Chef Russ's restaurant is being shut down, forced to pay a hefty dead cap lawsuit after several kids died from food poisoning. That big extension he signed about 20 months ago? He didn't even make it to the start of it. Start will also cost Denver a good chunk of their veteran hands and disappointing underachievers at wideout. Pointing right at Jerry Jeudy there. Cortland Sutton might be next. Denver made a couple of signings, mainly Brandon Jones from Miami to replace Justin Simmons. But when Jarrett Stidham is your starting quarterback, you know what the plan is. Embrace the suck. It's honestly for the best, Broncos country. Let's ride.
The Denver Broncos select Bo Nix.
There it is.
Quarterback, Oregon.
This is what happens when you have a desperate need at quarterback and all the good ones were poached off the board. 6 quarterbacks taken in the first 12 selections, and trends dictate that at least 2 of them won't pan out. Denver is deep in the copium stage. The throwback to the Elway days is on full display, reaching on another tall white QB, who hopefully won't become Paxton Lynch 2.0. Did you seriously expect them to settle with Jarrett Stidham and Zach fucking Wilson? They needed something, even if it's a guy who's been in college for roughly a decade. I swear I started the YouTube game when he was a freshman. Did do well at Oregon, though. It could work out. For standard, the ride never ends, Broncos. This carousel stop lever has been ripped off. I know they're a mile above sea level, but the hopium spreading across Denver is having me question their sanity. They're going to be a terrible team that'll be sponsored by the M1 Abrams, but don't let that get in the way of the future. It's an extremely young team. The Broncos were going nowhere under Chef Russ. His cooking had gone stale and unseasoned. What they need is to reach for Bo Nix. Considering he's been starting in the college ranks for what seems like a decade, he's pretty much ready for the starting gig. It was either him or Zach Wilson, or Jarrett Stidham. Pickings were very slim. It's going to be fantasy owners hoping Cortland Sutton is able to catch deep balls, and the rest of us praying Javonte Williams returns to form. Somewhere Sean Payton is wondering if there's a way he can get Taysom Hill to Denver. Then he can really get this offense humming. To a 5-win season. The AFC is a lot like recent years. Very wide open, but seems to lack the true power that it once had. Most of it has to do with general aging and salary cap constraints, but there's a lot of intrigue and probabilities to go around. You can make an argument for many teams here to make the playoffs. And that's a good thing for us all. The AFC East particularly has a new opening. While it's available, I still feel that Buffalo squeaks by despite competition from the Jets and Dolphins. The AFC North, it's still the Baltimore Ravens. They've always been a strong regular season team. The AFC South is very interesting. Every team's got a legit shot, but I'm choosing the Texans due to their talent level. The AFC West is still the Chiefs because God hates us all. But wild cards? Damn, that's tough. I'm going with Cincinnati, the Jets, and Jacksonville. Honestly, just throw darts in a billboard and you'll have a better chance at picking them. Such is how we all like it. Preferably with endless chaos. Good news, if you're a great cornerback in the NFL, it's time to reset the market. Michael Carter, you're a strong piece to the Jets defense. And the time has come for your reward. A nice payday making you the highest paid slot corner in the NFL today. It probably won't be for long, but the bag has been secured. You know who else got a few bags? Patrick Surtain. Denver's cornerstone's been worthy of a huge raise for a while. He got paid. Big time. All of the money to become the highest paid cornerback in league history. For 5 minutes. Literally. Getting jealous, Jalen Ramsey snuck up from behind and took that title with a sleeper hold. What has Jalen done to earn that title again lately? I don't know. Might be desperation by Miami? Probably? Hey, if the cap keeps going up and people are throwing out free money, why wouldn't you take it? Life's short, get your bag or 6. Broncos fans were huffing that hopium so hard this preseason I had serious concern for their well-being. At least you can say it was justified about their defense in a way. Shutting down the Hawks offense with 2 suffocating safeties in the first half put together a shocker. Who the hell needs offense when Seattle's bumbling around like this? The only problem is that Denver needs to score points of their own. They have Bo Nix. Unfortunately for them, they got the Auburn version of him. The SEC didn't call him Mo Picks without cause. Thankfully, his bad throws jarred the Seahawks to remember they have an offense and called in the K9 unit. It was kinda ugly, but Seattle hangs on and manages to sneak out of their home stadium with a dub. It's fucking Denver, you better beat them with their gutted roster. Back to reality, Broncos fans. All I'm gonna say is that Kenny Pickett also had a good preseason once. Enough said. Is it enough time to wonder if the Broncos chose the wrong side in the Civil War? Russ wasn't any good with them, but Sean Payton may be the true cancer in the organization. Where the hell is the offensive vision? Where is anything resembling even the basics of an offense? Against the Steelers and their defense, it was misery defined. Denver didn't get the luxury of a quick or clean death. Pittsburgh was a stubborn boa constrictor that slowly wrapped itself around their body and squeezed whatever life and hope they had in 60 minutes. I'm just shocked the Steelers scored a touchdown. A passing touchdown of all things. But that was about it. The Arthur Smith pizza delivery offered nothing in the second half and the Broncos still rode to their death. Bo Nix isn't ready, and I don't know if he'll ever be. No running game, no receiver separation. Their best offensive weapon was Broderick Jones. He isn't on the team. Onside kicks on the final drive? Who needs to do that with one timeout and less than 2 minutes remaining? Is Peyton trying to get himself fired, or is he allegedly stealing painkillers again? Yes, the Steelers are 2-0 with the most miserable football imaginable, but you can see what they're trying to do. You can't with Denver. It's gonna be a long year, Perna. Enjoy the Russell Wilson game ball out of pettiness. Let this game set the stage for how little logic and reasonable thought was considered in this week of NFL football. Raise your hand if you thought Denver had a snowball's chance in hell of winning this week. Against a strong Buccaneers team on the road? Even the most hopium-loaded fan in the Rocky Mountains was doubting their power. But then the game happened. Bucks? What the fuck? You go from dominating NFC contenders to being mauled by the Broncos? They didn't just start flat-footed, their legs were glued to the track before the starting gun. Baker Mayfield, for the crime of redeeming his career, has been sentenced to death behind this O-line. 7 sacks. The Broncos reverted to 2015 form with 7 sacks. I know Tampa Bay's dealing with injuries, but this was pathetic. Bo Nix looked presentable with a clean pocket and room to run. Do you know how bad you have to be to have that happen? All I can guess is that Tampa Bay looked past their opponent and suffered the consequences. Denver didn't just win, they annihilated whatever poorly equipped soul was in front of them. Maybe there is hope there after all. Miserable, plodding, mucky, rain-soaked football as far as the eye can see. Hurricane Helene forced Denver to practice on a tennis court this week, and neither Jet nor Bronco could do a damn thing in this shitty weather. Gaze at this play-by-play. Only the American mind can comprehend such brilliance. This is one of the greatest football games I've ever seen. Punting. more punting, missed kicks, fumbles, even more punting. It's so beautiful. A situation so stuck that Bo Nix had -7 passing yards in the first half. That is not a typo. Yet the Jets themselves couldn't break the weather nor Denver's defensive grip. And then something amazing happened. The Broncos did offense. Actual offense. Bo Nix threw a passing touchdown. Anything is possible. Except for the Jets offense doing much of anything. Field goals are traded. Denver rides to a 1-point lead. Neither offense can do much of anything. And Aaron Rodgers gets to be eaten alive by a young and hungry defense. Now, if only Denver could kick a field goal in these conditions, the Jets are going to get another chance. And they'll get into range themselves, but it's a 50-yarder. In these conditions, good luck.
Snap, Hennessy, hold, Morstead, 50-yarder! No good!
The Jets have to be kicking themselves. Any other scenario, they destroy the Broncos, but weather was the ultimate equalizer. Both of these teams are now 2-2. Denver is 2-2. Abandon all logic at the door, the Broncos are riding to a winning streak. Good God. What is football? Does it entail competency? If you're the Raiders, this answer is absolutely not. You're gonna face a joke franchise in the Broncos, you'll get laughed out of the damn building. Gardner Minshew would be a fine meme quarterback for an age of gold. If he didn't completely fucking suck. He'll take the chance to give the Raiders the lead, throw a terrible ball right to the hands of a PS2, then get pancaked into the ground as they play Katamari Damashi for a 100-yard pick six. That was this game for Las Vegas. Beating themselves repeatedly as penance for past sins. Or so I think. Denver missed a field goal to end the half. No, we can't have that. Let's commit a personal foul penalty so the Broncos can get another 3 points. In the second half, the Silver and Black just lied down and gave up. Denver's offense looked passable for whatever resembled the defense after Christian Wilkins went down. Meanwhile, Sean Payton's ready to flay Bo Nix alive despite crushing their foes. How do you get outperformed by Mo Picks? They'll move some deck chairs around by benching Minshew for AOC. The Raiders just shaved the handlebar mustache in a garbage pile. This is how the apocalypse happens. Denver is over 500. The Hopium's even more toxic than last year at Mile High. God save the children. The ride never ends, Denver. Chance to prove the Hopium of yours to be more than a noxious gas came and went like the wind. Too bad for you that Liquid LA is things that you don't. Like offensive talent and a quarterback. And the ability to score points in the first half. Field of play became hell. Everyone's injured. Patrick Surtain got knocked out with a concussion. The Broncos are down to yarn and string on their O-line. Even coaches weren't spared. Jim Harbaugh left the game with cardiac arrhythmia, but he returned shortly thereafter with new pants. Pulled the Lamar on the process. I respect it. The Broncos also Lamar'd all over the field against a team featuring fresh pants. Over by the third quarter, game, set, and match. People are gonna pretend that Mo Picks is showing progress, but ignore that he was 4 for 13 when the game actually mattered. Stats were padded in the extra long garbage session. You know who else was good in the fourth quarter? Kenny Pickett. At least he bullshit out some wins with his arm. Denver just deals with the never-ending anguish. Liquid LA somehow gets some happiness out of this. But the Hopium will still be huffed in Mile High. They need something to numb the pain. Ugh. This was fucking horrible. Sean Payton's revenge game had all the spark of a wet fart. Everything in this game sucked. Bo Nix sucks, Spencer Rattler sucks, the presentation sucks, and the Saints suck so badly that they've set football back 100 years. There's no defending this. This is a lot more than injuries. The whole operation is foobar. The performance was so bad the entire team should line up in midfield and commit seppuku. Especially Dennis Allen. His master plan is to burn his final timeout after gaining 8 yards in 2 plays to take a knee to go into halftime? The clock was already running, Dennis. What the fuck? Oh, we have to look beyond the results. So what do we discuss? The defense that only stops its ability to give a shit or the fact that they're in a crematorium. They gave up over 200 yards rushing to the Broncos. Denver. The Saints were in throwback uniforms and they lived up to that by going back to the days of the Aints. Peyton may as well be named Walter because he turned his team into the '85 Bears. Remember the first 2 weeks of the year? That's going to be Nola's highlight montage for 2024. Everything else is as bad as the Broncos being 4-3. They are most definitely a team. I've run out of things to say about Carolina. Even their red rifles are broken due to being involved in a car accident earlier in the week. Bryce Young will have his chance to prove the... I'm sorry, I can't say that with a straight face. Yeah, the Panthers got their asses beat. It's like watching Georgia play a Division III team. Completely outclassed, out-efforted, and outmaneuvered in every facet of the game. When Sean Payton is calling them an amateur outfit without any remorse and we agree wholeheartedly with it, you have a joke franchise. Despite the Broncos' flaws, everyone circled this game as a free win for them. Bo Nix put up Oregon-like stats against these scrubs, albeit with the asterisk of it being a Stanford-caliber defense. They did what they had to do. Can't complain about them. Yes, J.C. Horn, go and talk smack to Peyton for showing you no respect. You fuckers don't even respect yourselves. Denver can dance to 5-3 on your grave all they want. Well, Broncos, at least you kept it competitive for about a quarter? Everyone with a brain felt that Denver was going to get exposed sooner or later, but this was their chance to prove us all wrong. They failed miserably. Don't feel too bad, Baltimore's an absolute machine during the season. Lamar was all but perfection again. Dicing what was looking to be a sleeper defense to be put to sleep. Him and Zay Flowers had complete chemistry, devastating them through the air as King Henry crushes those beneath him with the ground attack. This is the peak form of the Ravens. Do you really think Bo Nix is beating this? Most quarterbacks not named Mahomes can't. They tried every trick in the book, but it was a beatdown back to their place in society. Don't get too panicky, you're still over 500, Broncos. It's all but an expectation to lose to the Ravens with that offense. You're fine. Get back on the horse and ride again next week. The same goes for Baltimore. Was half expecting to play Journey to Rome Part 1 today, you know that? Another blown lead was anticipated, but they proved me wrong. Keep doing so. Who will take out the beacons of bullshit and the undefeated, undaunted usurpers of football? Denver is the next valiant knight that will play a low-scoring grind and attempt to slay this dragon. You know the Chiefs' game. They'll give their opponents the illusion of success. Sure, let Bo Nix make a couple of good throws. Give them a false sense of security. Just that little morsel of a chance to upend the madness. A 14-3 lead is good enough. The time has come to unleash the power. A long touchdown drive merely showcases some of their talents. The rest will come later when their energy is needed. Come halftime, the clamps will come on. The Broncos' offense will be restrained as God intended. The divine intervention and blessings of the Chiefs will be constant. And slowly but surely, Kansas City will come alive under the might of Mahomes and his merry men. Yet Denver's defense is stout. They'll find ways to hold their adversary in check. And field goals are the name of the game. The Chiefs have the lead, but it's a perilous 2-point advantage. Sean Payton has something up his sleeve. He's going to beat the Dungeon Master at his own game. A dink and dunk final drive with only one goal: demoralization. Upending their longtime boogeyman with the MacGuffin of hope. Prepare yourselves, NFL world. Kansas City's destruction is imminent. Man, what a statement the Broncos are gonna make. The evil's gone. Someone cover for me. I gotta get some champagne to celebrate.
Come on, Will. Come on, Will. Come on, Will. No! 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 Block the goddamn kick! Are you kidding me? Oh, what the fuck? Oh my God, no! Oh, fuck! I give up. I give up on this sport. What the fuck? A blocked 35-yard field goal? Oh my God, I am done with football.
I think the Broncos might be pissed about how last week ended for them. The Chiefs blocked their kick, they'll block anything Atlanta tries to throw in resistance. Did the Falcons even try to throw anything? This defense was absolutely atrocious. What's a pass rush? What is coverage? They were Charmin soft. And that might be a compliment. Denver wanted to beat up on someone and straight up took them behind the shit, pummeling them within an inch of their life. They can't beat Kansas City, but they'll do the next best thing and slaughter an entire aviary. Bo Nix is getting Denver more than addicted to hopium. And with performances like that, it's justified. With consecutive losses, Atlanta's pissing away a chance to run away with the division. They infuriate me with no end. And it never changes. The Broncos didn't just ride, they trampled over them repeatedly. Get a shovel. It's the only way you're gonna pry the remains off the ground. Welcome to your Pittsburgh Steelers arc, Denver. The games are gonna be ugly as hell, but like finding a girl at the bar at 2 a.m., you'll take whatever you can get. A win's a win like a hole's a hole. Be thankful that the Raiders are absolute shit more interested in attempting to secure Cam Ward than they are in winning games. They gave Denver the short yardage stuff all day and didn't bother to adjust. That and failing to do anything with a damn on offense in the red zone. The Broncos weren't anything close to a dominant group. They merely took advantage of a team that's hollowed out without either of their starting cornerbacks or much of anything resembling talent. A free wins count as much as hard-earned ones, and the Raiders are more than happy to oblige the ride that never ends. The price of admission is in Riley Moss. That legitimately sucks. Don't feel like you're being left out either, Raiders. There's great news on the tank front. Gardner Minshew's headed right to the landfill as well with a broken collarbone. Even if he sucked, it's Desmond Mitter time. That means no winning. Get out. Just leave the scene and never return. You did your part in the Broncos' backdoor to a bullshit playoff berth. Now enjoy your tank bowl quest and go. Anything else will be horrifying to witness. It's been known for weeks that the Broncos are most likely going to backdoor into the playoffs. The insanely lopsided AFC and strong defense have written it into contingency. Nobody said it was confirmed, though. Cleveland's playing with fire after the elimination of the adult in the room. With Reverend Jameis preaching from his pocket pulpit, it'll be tough to convert the masses. We got the full famous Jameis experience tonight. What a legendary performance throwing back to his 30-30 campaign. He's destroying everything. The opposition, his own team, the fans watching around the country. You know it. It starts out as a standard back and forth affair. Offenses being quiet despite a few big bangs early, merely feeling out their opponent to find any glaring weaknesses. The Broncos then ride on the back of Bosferatu and suck the life out of their opponent with a touchdown. Jameis then redelivers life by means of a counter touchdown. To the Broncos. Told you the famous Jameis experience is fun. Let's keep it going with extending life with another touchdown. One for Cleveland this time. As we try to debate if Riley Moss was the Broncos' defense, Bo Nix injects Denver with all the hopium. And I mean all of it. That play's gonna bring forth a bunch of babies born in Colorado next September. But Jameis won't be one-upped. Are you crazy? Judge Judy's gonna have his revenge game in the most delicious way. You like Levi Wallace, Denver? Pittsburgh sends its regards. We continue with a little bit of sludge. Defense is finally making stops, except for one attempted surge by the Broncos. They unfortunately don't make it to the end, so the field goal is kicked, and all seems lost for Cleveland. When the hate club was at its lowest morale, we have the bounty. A Mo Picks arm punt. Oh my lord, what an incredible blessing for us all. The Winston Million has come through. Big Chubb's returning to the Browns with a touchdown on an impressive drive. Cleveland has the lead. This is not a drill, my friends. We are witnessing the greatest Jameis timeline. Yet Sean Payton must punish a battered opponent. Taking the lead is inevitable, but they need a touchdown, especially with how rough their defense looks. They don't succeed. Denver's forced to kick a field goal, it's too late. Winston's gonna make these fools pay dearly for doubting him.
As he was headed out of bounds. Here's a pick!
Jameis,
Intercepted!
No! Why do you betray us like this? Excuse me for losing my composure. Think about it for a minute. Almost 500 yards of offense on just under 60 pass attempts, 6 touchdowns, 2 of them to the other team. This is the peak Jameis Winston performance. We'll be hard-pressed to find anything better. Let Denver have the win. Hell, he's gonna make it 7 touchdowns right now.
Like, I'm just praying for the Lord to deliver me from pick sixes.
It's that time of the year again. When the playoffs start to peek into the picture and we discuss the scenarios at hand. Such a chaotic time, but not really for the AFC. Their picture is pretty much set, barring a collapse or two. Kansas City and Buffalo have already punched their tickets to the dance. Pittsburgh will most likely with another win. Houston's only saving grace is that their division is ass and they have tiebreaker over the Colts. Baltimore, the Chargers, and Denver bring up the surprising wildcards of this conference. Indianapolis is still gunning for that final spot, even if it's a long shot. Miami and Cincinnati are still alive, but barely. There's been a lot of disappointment for teams this season, but there's still a chance they remembered the rules.
Don't get eliminated!
1 month left. Get your tickets to the postseason ready now or be left out in the cold. We know the drill by now. The AFC hasn't seen much change from last week. No clinchings, but Pittsburgh's one step closer. Houston, Baltimore, and Denver were on bye, but the Chargers lost to Kansas City's Black Magic, make it a 3-way tie. It's not set in stone. Indianapolis is a paper-soft schedule to end the year. Beating Denver will go a long way towards a hilarious berth. Miami and Cincinnati are both still alive, but have a steep road ahead of them. You aren't out of the dance until you hear the dreaded words told to a few teams already. You know them by heart.
Don't get eliminated!
A critical game in the AFC playoff picture. Surprising to think considering how the season's played out, but Denver's eager to get back to the promised land of January. It sure as hell isn't happening the way they're playing. I'm under the assumption that the Broncos got high off their own supply because the quality of play has taken a nosedive. When they thought they were safe, Mo Picks has returned. He's being exposed for the Sean Payton merchant that he is. And the hopium in Denver is choking them away slowly. Even as Anthony Richardson can't throw a football accurately, Indy might as well be leading by 20. It's fucking hilarious. The Colts are going to drunkenly stumble their way into the playoffs. Who needs a passing game when you have Jonathan Taylor rushing through the opposition like this? Oh no, Jonathan! What are you doing, my man? You sat there and watched Malachi Corley pull the same shit on Halloween. Jordan Battle did it hours ago, for fuck's sake. You're getting paid $14 million a season. Why the hell are you sabotaging the season Wentz style? Hold on to the fucking ball! Drunkenly stumbling around has started to backfire. You think a good plan is for Adonai Mitchell to throw a pass? Nick Bonito swoops in and destroys their dreams. And with that, Indy season all but ends in a hilarious thud. They fancy themselves as playoff contenders, yet failed to realize that they fucking suck. Denver wasn't any good either, but if the Colts want to lose the game on their own, more power to them. Their January ambitions may be all but dead, but Colo Cal of the Week honors are more than ripe for the taking. Denver can keep on huffing that hopium as Mo Picks makes a glorious return to fuel his haters. He was absolutely terrible today. Don't you dare think that Indy didn't beat themselves easily. Poor Chris Ballard. He drafted a project QB he can't develop and a season dead to rights. Speaking of which, the Broncos pretty much punched their ticket to January on the back of a strong defense. They're probably going to get walloped in the first round, but considering their early projections, Denver takes that every day of the week. 3 games remain. This week was critical in deciphering the playoff formulas, but it doesn't mean that we're anywhere close to a solution. We need to go deeper. The AFC's number 1 seed is Kansas City's for now, but with Buffalo's tiebreaker and the Mahomes injury, things could be getting complicated there. The AFC North will be all but decided this Saturday. Steelers and Ravens locking horns. If Pittsburgh wins, they clinch it outright. If Baltimore breaks them, they control their own destiny there. The loser will secure a wildcard spot, and the other 2 are up for grabs. Denver's all but secured one with last week's win, but the Chargers are solely in 7th. They should make it barring a collapse. They do fall. Indy gets first rights, followed by Miami and Cincy. All 3 are on life support, however. Get ready. These words are gonna come in handy.
Don't get eliminated!
Never heard of a team willingly flexing their game to Thursday night. Are you sure they're okay? Someone wake up the Chargers. They're getting slapped around silly in front of a crowd of mostly Broncos fans. Denver could pretty much do whatever they wanted in the first half. Run with these, expose this supposedly strong defense, flirt with their sisters, the full monty. A playoff berth with insight with a double-digit lead. But then the uncanny becomes reality. Look to just before halftime and find Liquid LA's MacGuffin after a fair catch penalty. A free kick? In this economy? An obscure rule executed to perfection for the first time since the American Bicentennial. Momentum shifted on a dime. What the Broncos could do with these is now collapsing under Charger might. Justin Herbert's dragging this rotting carcass across several state lines with quite possibly the best performance of his career. Denver's offense was stagnant as hell, but the real issue was that defense. Getting gashed by a unit without J.K. Dobbins and a hobbled Gus Bus. And I was out here praising them for their efforts too. The only praise now comes in a punch to the gut. The Bolts shocked the world, overcoming a slide to death itself to grant them victory over a hated rival. The ride didn't end for Denver, it simply lied dormant for maximum carnage, revealing the reality of schedule merchants unable to beat a team over 500. A chance to secure a playoff berth has been struck by lightning. Now beat the Bengals and we can forget about this humiliation forevermore. If not... The time has come to crunch. We're nearing the finish line, and there's still plenty of positions at the round table to play for. The number 1 seed in the AFC will be decided as such. Kansas City's a winning clinch. The Bills need to win out and the Chiefs to lose out to secure it. It's very possible considering their respective opponents. The AFC North is wide open after the Ravens win last week. However, the Steelers still control their own destiny. But if Pittsburgh slips up, Baltimore can make their move. The wildcard slots are pretty much set in stone, barring a collapse or two. Liquid LA and Denver are all but a shoo-in, just needing to win and they're in. The Broncos' opponents aren't exactly slouches, though. Indy, on the other hand, is playing glorified JV squads. Cincy and Miami are also chomping at the bit if they fall apart. Don't be left out in the cold, NFL world, lest you suffer the greatest humiliation.
Don't get eliminated!
Survival instincts have to kick in for both squads. The Bengals are paying for defensive fuck-ups past, while the Broncos aren't hoping the clock's already struck midnight. Things are eerily quiet until the second half. Both teams are merely trying to feel out their opponent for potential weaknesses. Their outer shells are both sturdy and formidable, but after probing and prying, they'll both begin their attack. Offensive firepower overcoming the supposed defenses in front of them. Joe Burrow dicing up his prey as usual, and Bo Nix dicing up the Bengals' D as usual for Cincy. The game continually tied up with Denver countering every Cincinnati charge. But then the dreaded adversary of any offense appears for the Bungles. A fumble. It gives Denver a chance to win and be playoff bound. But a miracle happened. Mo Picks returned on another terrible interception. Such a blessing deserves an equal present for the Christmas spirit. Zach Taylor being a moron. How shocking. All he had to do was kneel the ball and kick a field goal with limited time remaining to win the game. A touchdown's perilous since Denver gets the ball back in a one-score game. And with that terrible Cincy defense, are you shocked that they're giving up yards en masse? Look, it's 4th and 1 with time winding down. Stop them here and win it.
Anarumo saying, get over the top of Sutton. Burden the block. And Nix will throw it. It is caught. Touchdown. Mims got the ball.
Fucking hell, Bungles. Bo's chucking a desperation heave into double coverage. How the fuck did Mims come up with that? Now it's tied and your season lies in the balance of overtime. The Bengals pretty much do nothing on their first drive. Fortunately for them, Mo Picks returned yet again, overshooting a wide-open target to force a punt. Cincy, here's your chance. Prime field position and Joe Burrow's a great quarterback. It's gonna come down to a chip shot field goal. Any NFLer with his salt can make it. Maybe Zach was right to not kick the field goal in the 4th. Denver doesn't even have to win now. A tie gets them to the promised land just as equally. All they need are a few first downs. And Mo Picks showed up again. How many goddamn opportunities have you had, Broncos? Bengals kept bungling everything away, yet you were just too kind to capitalize. If you want their high-end talent, will.
And Burrow with the ball. 1st and goal. End zone. Caught. Higgins. Touchdown. Bengals win. And they are alive in the playoff race.
Cincy didn't just save their season, but 2 others in the process. It'll take many miracles for the Bengals to get there, but it's the thought that counts. The Bronco implosion continues, but Kansas City should be resting their starters next week. You're not gonna fuck this up, right, Denver? Mo Picks isn't gonna show up against the Chiefs, right, Denver? This week settled a lot of questions, particularly with seeding in the AFC. The contestants have dwindled to a few, but there are a couple of spots up for grabs, mainly in the AFC. The North is still undecided. Baltimore now controls their own destiny in this regard. Win and claim it. If they lose and Pittsburgh wins, the division will run through them instead. The final piece of the AFC puzzle is the 7th seed. Denver holds it for now, but a skid leaves them in danger. They're fortunately still win or tie and in. If they slip up, Miami gets the spot if they win. If Denver and Miami lose, Cincy will sneak into the picture. If everyone loses, the Broncos still get it. Oh, what a time it is to be a fan. The stakes are higher than ever. And there are 3 words that echo throughout time and space.
Don't get eliminated!
The main attraction that many are interested in is the 7th seed in the AFC. Who will earn the right to get their asses kicked in Buffalo? Will it be Denver, who has first right to it? Will it be Miami, who can pull it off with a Broncos loss? Or will it be the Bengals, who need miracles for it to happen? Cincinnati, terrible news. You're gonna have to rely on Carson Wentz to survive. Chiefs have nothing to play for and are giving reps to their backups. Denver doesn't want to leave anything to chance and is playing a glorified Pac-12 squad. It was over before the opening kickoff. The Broncos weren't simply interested in winning the game. They wanted a punching bag. Some outcast or hated kid to beat up on the playground to take out frustrations. That blocked kick has been haunting their nightmares for months. Mo Pix is going to emerge from an interceptionless shadow to obliterate a defense looking forward to rest and recuperation, slaughtering anything wearing Chief Red in a blowout rivaling the glories of the past. And now their time has come again. It's been a long while, Denver. For the first time since their Super Bowl run with the withered husk of Peyton, a new Peyton will lead the way. The house money of the playoffs await. The final stage is set. 14 teams remain and are ready to duel to the death. Only one shall remain. And the defending back-to-back contender receives a first-round bye to recharge their mana points for more bullshit. Gunning for revenge, Buffalo has a shot, but will have to take care of business against Denver first. The Ravens receive another showing of AFC North football. The rivalry with the Steelers will add another chapter after Pittsburgh's near-traditional collapse. Liquid LA usurps the 5th seed at the last moment and will travel to Houston to face an ailing fraud squad. In the NFC, the Lions stand tall, despite missing several limbs and vital organs. Coming in second, Philadelphia controls it and faces a team that's upended such a foe last season. Be careful with Green Bay. I'd also be careful if I were the commies. Tampa Bay's been playing with fire, and in their home stadium, it could be a nightmare. Meanwhile, Minnesota's forced to head to LA for a master versus apprentice showdown. Things are hopefully going to get spicy. At Mile High, the levels of hopium have reached critical mass. Of course, when a team was supposed to be terrible and finally experiences a modicum of success, any fanbase will be talking shit. Bo Nix is the future, they'll scream from the mountaintops. Nick Bonito is a cornerstone, they'll cry at microbreweries 50 feet apart. Patrick Surtain and Sean Payton are gods amongst men. As long as you don't tell them their schedule merchants have only beaten one legit opponent over 500. But hey, house money's a hell of an aphrodisiac. They're probably gonna get ritually slaughtered by Bills, yet they'll have a shit-eating grin as the knife is thrust in them. The Broncos made it back. The pain is dull. It's impressive yet fleeting. Enjoy this, even if it is likely a one and done. This season has taken us from football heaven to the depths of unwatchable hell. When there's money to be made, the product does not matter. Yet the playoffs are a different beast. In the end, there can be only 2 contenders dueling for the ultimate prize. I'm not even gonna try to be optimistic it's gonna be Chiefs versus Eagles. The matchup no one outside those cities want because the football gods desire salt. They're shitposters at heart. Very predictable ones, but I respect the dedication. We all hope for something different, but we said that last year. Look what happened. Regardless, good luck to all teams involved. They're probably gonna need it. Well, at least they kept it competitive for a half. It's more than I can say for a few other teams in the wild card. But then the ugly truth managed to come to the light. The Broncos were facing a good team. Their schedule merchant prowess could no longer save them. Even so, it's a solid season that's long been needed for Denver. They finally made it back, and even if they got their asses kicked, the shit-eating grin across their faces couldn't be altered. It's the learning experience year, merely praying to God that they don't regress from their current form. One that didn't have anywhere enough to keep up with the Bills. Begin an off-season of loading and preparation. Get yourselves a real halfback and go from there.